So I know it's odd, and I know it's not often, but we are back with the news. And we have some updates from NXT, but also I couldn't help but wonder. I couldn't help but not acknowledge that this weekend, on June 25th, it is when the Forbidden Door opens again. It is All Elite Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling presents Forbidden Door 2. And one of the biggest matches we've seen in the modern era will take place on that event as Hiroshi Tanahashi goes up against the American Dragon Bryan Danielson in a match for the first time ever. It's a match that we've been waiting for as Bryan Danielson was a part of WWE during Okada's come up and never had the opportunity to step in the ring with Kazuchika Okada until this weekend and AEW Forbidden Door. But we jump back and we look to NXT Gold Rush, as I do apologize for not noticing that I may have been looking at a not updated version of the not updated preview for NXT last night when I spoke about the preview for the show during the news video. So I do apologize for that, because I was wondering when Rollins and Braun Breaker would have their match. And as it turns out, Rollins and Braun Breaker fought last night. And even though I saw the preview for the event last night, I did not see Rollins versus Braun Breaker. So that made me wonder when Rollins versus Braun Breaker was actually going to take place. But I didn't look to make sure that it was a recent updated card fulfilled with all of the matches that were going to be included on the event. So I do apologize for that. But either way, Rollins and Braun Breaker fought last night. And we also saw an attack from Finn Balor, jumping Seth Rollins following the match. And, of course, Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes appeared to help the world champion. I, for one, will say that WWE is doing exactly what they should be doing, because they should be hyping up Rollins versus Finn Balor, as it is a world title match, and any world title match deserves the ability to be hyped up and built up, aka some investment, because the fact of the matter is, it's a world title match, and it deserves to be one of the more important matches, if not the most important match on the show. And I know you could say, it's not the world title match. Roman's not on the show. As far as I know, Roman Reigns is not working England against... he is not working in England. He is not going to the O2 to defend the world title. He is not going to be there. It's that simple. So if Roman's not going to be there and Seth is going to be the only world champion, then Seth is the most important champion on the show. Simple as that. Seth is the most important champion on the show, and the match automatically, because it's a world championship match, deserves every chance to be the most important match on the show. Because in my opinion, it is, and it also should be the match that is given the most time, next to Money in the Bank, of course, as Money in the Bank should also be given a lot of the time. But either way, Rollins versus Balor at Money in the Bank on July the 1st in London at the O2 should be an incredible match between two of the most athletically gifted stars in WWE right now. Speaking of an incredible match between two of the most two of the most gifted stars in WWE, Nathan Frazier issued a challenge or offered a challenge to his friend Dragon Lee for the opportunity to challenge for the Heritage Cup on the June 27th edition of NXT, the second night of NXT Gold Rush. AKA the second night of NXT Gold Rush. And it is basically, I mean, honestly, I don't know what to say other than it's going to be absolutely amazing match. Because both those men are, again, much like Rollins and much like Rollins and Balor, Nathan Frazier and Dragon Lee are two of the most athletically gifted people in WWE. And I'm looking forward to seeing the highlights of that match. I'm looking forward to seeing the highlights of that match next week. I very much am. Also next week, Idris Enofo and Malik Blade defeated Hank Walker and Tank Ledger and Josh Briggs and won that triple threat tag team match for the opportunity to challenge the Gallus Boys for the World Tag Team titles next week on NXT. So, Idris Enofo and Malik Blade are the number one contenders for the tag team titles. And also, on the July 4th edition of NXT, it was announced that Damon Kemp will challenge his rival, whose honestly name is escaping me, which is probably not a good thing. The point is, Raw Underground is back as Damon Kemp challenged his rival for a match at Raw Underground, or in a Raw Underground match, which I guess maybe is like WWE's answer to what's it called? WWE's answer to an unsanctioned match. That's what it is. WWE's answer to an unsanctioned match. Because what is Raw Underground other than just a no holds barred match? You know what I mean? Overall, I would say I was happy and very, very ecstatic to see Rollins go down to NXT and defend the NXT Heavyweight Championship. But it needs to be something that doesn't happen that often. Number one. Number two, it shouldn't just be Rollins. Why not Theory go down there? Why not have Theory go down there? Why not keep mixing it up and have other people go down, like you saw with Baron Corbin? Dolph Ziggler's a free agent, to my knowledge. Why not have Dolph Ziggler reappear on NXT? But the answer to the question is Eddie Thorpe was confronted by Damon Kemp, and Damon Kemp challenged him to a third match, Raw Underground match. And according to what happened last night on NXT, Gable Steveson agreed to train Eddie Thorpe for the Raw Underground match. as you know, it is out of Eddie Thorpe's element, so it was fitting that Damon Kemp was able to. It is fitting that Gable Steveson would be the one to train Eddie Thorpe to wrestle more of an amateur wrestling style match. But also, I just want to praise WWE for giving us the moment backstage with Seth Rollins and Nathan Frazier, as Frazier was trained by Seth Rollins, and Rollins put over Nathan Frazier and also put over Carmelo Hayes. As, you know, really, that's kind of the point, and I think a lot WWE could benefit from having people like Rollins going down to NXT and praising and putting over the future of WWE to give fans a reason not only to watch the show, but also to watch out for certain people like Nathan Frazier and Carmelo Hayes. With that being said, though, that is it for me in this video, and we will be back in the next news video, so stay tuned for that. But that's it for me right now, and I'll see you again soon.